Welcome to Wild Wasteland, everyone. As always, I'm Dean Maldonado, and with me is my faithful companion, Michael Johnson.
What's up?
He waved. I don't know if you guys could hear that. So, Michael, this was kind of a labor of love of your own doing, this episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love what we're going to be talking about today.
I mean, me too, but at the same time, I went through and I kind of took what you did and made it made sense. I feel like I'm the like if we're thinking of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like I am the Artemis to your Charlie. Like I can actually read your writing.
Yeah. Like I got that from the episode that I narrated, and I listened to it, and I was like, that's terrible. Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of concepts going around the old noggin that's just knocking around. Like, yeah, that's a cool thing, and that's going to bring people in. But then when I sit down and try to write it just seems to go off the rails. And you seem to be better at that, and you're better at reading too. That I am.
I'm definitely better at reading.
I'm more visual reader. You're like more actual reader.
You're saying that like your favorite books are I Spy and Where's Waldo.
Dude, there is so many pictures in this Google Docs that we have for this episode.
Oh, you're welcome. I added more.
I
made sure there was nothing with a description that did not have a picture.
Like I would be like torture,
which for those of you listening is the topic of our episode.
Oh wow.
We are going to dive into the crazy world of torture.
Ooh.
Now,
I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I've been to multiple countries, and when I'm in a country, I really do, especially in Europe, I make it my mission to find a museum of torture because they all have one.
Of course, because that's what they did in Europe.
Yeah.
We didn't really have that here. We just had...
we had some, but it's because we came from Europe.
Yeah, like we came in like 800 years more advanced. Like, dude, there's not going to be much torturing going on here.
Yeah. Torture kind of fell out of fashion. Nowadays, like, I feel like the most torture you can get is being publicly shamed.
Oh, yeah, the Me Too thing?
Yeah, well, like Me Too and all of the, like look at Jussie Smollett. Like today, he was exonerated.
Yeah. He was tortured.
He was exonerated today. They said that there was no, like he didn't do it himself, like all that was bullshit, and he's out of jail and all this shit.
I think they're doing the same thing to R. Kelly too.
Well, you'd hope so, but you never know with R. Kelly. He's been crying on public television too much for people to believe him anymore.
Well, he's fighting for his life.
I guess.
I think we made that same joke last week.
Probably. I mean, he's been in the news for too long.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
But, so technically, the definition of torture is the deliberate, systematic, cruel, and wanton infliction of physical or mental suffering by one or more torturers in an attempt to force another person to yield information, to make a confession, as part of a punishment, or for any other reason.
Right, and for those that don't have glasses on, what does that mean?
So basically, torture is when you
trying to get somebody to say something.
Yeah, but you're deliberately doing this. You are actively doing something that is meant to inflict physical or mental damage on a person until they give you what you want.
Yeah, I saw Lost.
I never did. I never decided that kind of self-inflicted torture. But what is the Black Fog?
No,
wait, they're right off of Florida?
There's a guy on there that was a former torturer for the
I don't know. I've never watched the show.
The Iranian government.
Really? That's a hell of a position. I don't know what his resume looked like to get that job, but
he was just really good at putting things under people's fingernails. Like that's pretty much his superpower.
So, I mean, that's a very new age form of torture.
It's pretty effective. Like,
Oh, it's very. That's the thing
One
about
time I
torture
got
is if you look at it based out of like the ancient torture and the modern torture,
yeah,
and you don't look at what came between,
Yeah.
it's hard to see how we got from one to the other.
it's true because now we're more subtle, and more painful.
Oh
whereas
yeah.
that it was pretty blunt.
Oh my God, it
And
was blunt.
Most of the time, people died.
Oh,
there wasn't
yeah.
much torturing going on. It was more like, yeah, we're just gonna kill you.
It was like you did something wrong. Now we're gonna make you suffer until we let you die.
Like, what don't I want done to me? I don't want anything up my ass. Here, sit on this giant.
We'll get to the Judas chair, sir.
Whoa! Don't say it.
It was
Jeez, people can Google it now.
Listen, it was an innovation of the Spanish donkey.
Okay, now you're just making up words.
No, that was a real thing. It was called the Spanish horse or the Spanish donkey.
That was this next to the Mexican sombrero.
If only. Now this one was way more painful. They would take you and strip you naked and put you on a horse. Like
Ooh.
literally had like the 4 feet, and it had the center part of the horse almost like those
A rocking horse.
No. What do you cut wood on when you put up the two things?
Yeah, a sawhorse.
Sawhorse. There
Yeah.
you go. It looks like a sawhorse.
Okay, I like this now. I'm
But the
interested. I'm
center
scooting in.
beam is a point. It like all
Ooh.
comes to a ridge, and they sit you on that naked and put weights on your feet.
Oh man.
Yeah. And they just like basically let you like sit like that, and they would like pull you back and forth to like use the wood to abrade you. Like that's what was before the Judas chair.
Yeah, no. Most women would enjoy this.
But that's the thing is that like you would never have known that those two were similar or even related if you didn't know when they came out. Now
That's true. It's not like iPhone 1 and iPhone 10. Like it's
it's a
how'd
lot.
they get there?
It's a lot harder. They don't really number things. But
Yeah.
so I guess we should start with do you want to start with ancient torture, or do you want to start ancient and work our way modern, or do you want to start with modern and work our way ancient?
I say we go like the usual route, you know,
Ancient to modern?
right? Like this might be a few episodes, maybe 3 or 4, you never know.
Well, we'll see if we decide to stretch it that long. Oh
yeah,
my God.
let's put you on the seahorse. Let's stretch your legs out.
Woof. That would be the rack. That
Oh,
would be the stretching rack.
which one's that one in?
That's medieval torture in England.
Ah, it's next episode.
Yeah, they
Damn.
really love the rack.
Well, who doesn't like a good rack? Boobies. That was a boobies
That's what it
joke.
was about. Now I get it.
Yeah.
So, our first ancient torture brings us to the Norsemen, the Vikings.
Oh, that one episode, that one show on fucking Netflix. It's terrible. It's like a comedy. That is torture.
I've never seen it.
The
and
Norsemen.
I'm
Yeah, it's
glad
like,
you torture yourself with all of this media. Like
I just go home and just watch terrible television.
Do you go through the list and you're like, what's recommended for me? No, skip that. Go to everything that's not recommended specifically for me.
It's interesting because when Netflix had stars, I would always go for the 1-star ones.
I feel like you're the kind of guy to go onto that Amazon Prime and watch Kick Chop Panda instead of Kung Fu Panda.
Netflix or Amazon Prime, I spent a whole day going through and like adding things to my list, like watching the trailers, and I'm like, man, that looks really bad. I gotta add that to the watch later.
Yeah, I can't watch trailers because
I
then
only watch trailers.
I
you get the
hate
whole
'em.
movie.
Exactly.
Like 2 minutes. It's
I hate
awesome.
it.
I like that.
If
I
I
don't
wanna-
like sitting in front of a movie for 2 hours. Just give me the trailer.
if I want to watch a movie, I'm gonna sit down and fucking watch that movie. I'm not gonna watch 3 minutes of them telling me the entire story to try and get me hooked. Because when they put that out, it was 6 months before the actual movie came out, so you fucking forget you know the entire plot.
Listen, you're the one that wanted to add the TLDL to the podcast.
I told you we should. We should
I
put
don't
too
think
long
so.
didn't listen for people who don't love our ramblings, but they like
Listen.
our information.
You gotta listen.
Well, you do, but
Yeah.
also it does help to be like, hey, welcome, goodbye to those who don't care.
It doesn't help our statistics. We're trying to build a market.
Listen, man, a listen is a listen. However,
That's true.
so the Vikings were very brutal people. I mean,
yeah, I've never heard of them before. Who are these Vikings that you speak of?
You can kindly go fuck yourself real quick, and I'll continue with this. So they were known for when they would go and pillage a village.
Pillage of Village.
I love
Did you
that.
write that in the script?
I wish.
Oh.
Yeah,
You did.
when they go to pillage a village, they would normally like leave a mark, and one of their most famous like calling cards the same way.
Axe in the face. Yeah, I know about this.
Well, that was
Good.
pretty common everywhere.
Oh.
Mainly because axes were one of the best forms of weapon at that point because
Like-
they didn't really know how to work with metal to make
Yeah.
swords very well.
Well, and swords suck. Like
Compared
swords
to
are
an axe?
yeah, like you can put a lot of force behind an axe. You can chop down a tree. You can chop down a guy.
Yeah, fair enough. But you could do that with a sword too, especially at
You
that
can't
time.
chop down a tree with a sword.
Oh yeah.
I want to see a YouTube video of someone doing this.
Oh my God. You
Specifically
can totally
a fat guy.
find like 7,000 of those. Just filter by region and only look for things in Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, and Georgia. You'll
Yeah.
find it.
Okay,
But-
I'll look. I'll Google.
So there was a thing called the blood eagle.
That's fucking brutal.
Yeah. Now what they would do,
Oh, is this picture right here?
yeah, that's that picture right there. They would cut open the back of the victim and break their ribs and pull them out almost like an angel wings
Oh,
to expose their lungs.
That's pretty. So
So
not what I thought. I was thinking like snow angels. Like they just like,
it's like
now you got to go out there naked and make snow angels in the snow.
yeah, but that's an angel.
Yeah.
This is a blood eagle.
Oh, geez, I thought I heard.
None of this sounds,
I
fluffy.
think blood angel would sound even more brutal than blood eagle.
Yeah.
Where is their marketing team on this? I think
They
could
were
rebrand
all
it.
drunk, hoping for Asgard.
Well, this will definitely help you get there.
Now, this is one of Michael's little additions. We love these kind of things. Now, I honestly want to read this word for word
Yeah,
just because you wrote all of this.
yeah, I definitely did.
All right. Tickle torture.
Yeah.
Not all torture methods involved gore. In China, especially during the reign of the Han Dynasty, sometimes you'd have to torture someone for interrogation without actually leaving any scars. This used to be a common occurrence if the victim belonged to a royal family or an influential family. A variation of this in the Roman camps involved dipping the victim's feet in a salt solution and having a goat lick the bottom of the feet.
No, that's just fun.
This would start out as tickling, but the pain that followed would be extreme.
Wait, did you just kind of glossed over blood eagle?
Listen, we're past blood eagle. We're on
No,
to tickle torture.
We gotta explain. Like for everyone listening, you need to understand what blood eagle looks like. No,
They do.
It's like
They
imagine
they
like,
take a person.
where you
they put
eat
them
when you're
over-
eating ribs, right? When you're eating your ribs, you go
You
get a
explain
rack
to
of ribs,
the people.
and like it's sticking out of some guy's back. This thing is I don't know. I thought we were just gonna talk about like blood eagle for like an hour.
Oh no, sir. We have a lot to cover.
Yeah, there's a lot, but this is you have to look up pictures of the stuff that we're talking about. So,
Yeah, I
but
mean-
the tickle torture that was supposed to be like the palate cleanser. It's like
No, I mean it's fun, it's light, and it makes sense. It honestly
Goats love
is an
salt.
incredible precursor to modern torture.
oh
Because modern torture, a lot of it is about not leaving marks
yeah,
because they know that the marks show internal damage and other shit like that.
It's true.
So they really, I mean, tickle torture is probably a great base for that. Because the thing is that, like, the emotional centers of your brain
Yeah,
for pain and joy are right next to each other. That's why when you cry, you can also laugh. And when you laugh, you can also cry. They're very similar.
tell it to Louis
Same,
C.K.
same with pain and tickling. Tickling is basically just like touching nerves that are like, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. And then like taking it away. So they're like, wait,
Oh,
did
yeah.
that actually hurt? We don't know. Now pain
like lollipops.
is like, oh, this hurts. Oh, this hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, this definitely hurts. And so if you start with tickling, eventually that feeling will build till it hurts.
yeah, that's true.
That's very smart.
But the goats never bit anybody, did they?
No, probably not. I probably just
Oh.
licked their feet until they really were like in agony because they were laughing so hard and having so much tickling happening.
Yeah, like when your cheeks hurt. Have you ever laughed so hard that your cheeks hurt?
I've laughed so hard that I've almost passed out.
Wow.
I've seen spots.
We
Now,
should buy you a few goats. Soak your feet in some salt. That's crazy.
Now, ancient torture, obviously, as we can see, was either, brutal or
Yeah.
not so.
Or silly, I guess.
Yeah, right?
That blood eagle pretty silly.
Pretty silly torture.
Goat torture, pretty funny.
That's pretty fucked up.
Brutal, yeah.
It's pretty brutal. Now, here's probably one of the most brutal torture techniques of all time.
Oh my god.
Because really, you weren't trying to get anything out of your victim. You just were trying to
you're going to get a few things out of your
embarrass them until they died.
Yeah.
So it's known by two names, the Brazen Bull or the Sicilian Bull. Now, effectively what it is a bronze hollow bull sculpture.
Yeah.
With a door on the side.
Yeah, they had them in Chicago like 2003, 4.
Really? No. You're thinking of the art cows.
Yeah, the bulls on parade, yeah.
That was the art cows. That's a very different thing. My mother used to collect those figurines when I was a child.
No, they're like 4 or 5 feet tall. They're all over.
Yeah,
Chicago.
I know. They also made figurines and they sell them online.
Really?
Yeah, I know. There's still one of the art cows. If you go to the Oven Grinder Pizza Company, it's right near the edge of a street that has 2 banks on the corner.
Yeah.
If you go to that corner and you look left, there's a house with a little kind of like
window, door frame.
No, it's outside the house. It's almost like a little
Vestibule.
awning.
Okay.
But it's like made of cement, and like it looks like there could be a porch above it.
Oh, okay.
And on top of that, there is one of the art cows that they must have purchased.
Yeah, and then just
put it on their house.
Can we talk about the Oven Grinder pizza? That's
No. We got to get back to the Sicilian Bowl.
Torture, not fucking have. Now I'm thinking about
the Sicilian Bowl, my friend.
Okay, the bowl, yeah.
So it was bronze, and once they put the victim inside, they would lock it, and they would light a fire underneath it, and when the person would scream from inside the bowl
because it's so hot.
Because they're fucking boiling alive. The way that the sounds would reverberate through the nostrils would make it sound like a bull, like roaring.
Like, what does a bull sound like?
Things like that.
Yeah.
Do you ever self-diagnose yourself with things?
Why do you think that I have something?
No. The other week I found a
lump.
No, it's a neurological disorder that I definitely have. There's no curable thing for it. It's just nice to know what it's called.
Sociopath, tendencies.
No, it's called latchkey incontinence.
Oh, you go poopy a lot?
No, it's where when you are unlocking your door, you have an urge to pee.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's a weird. That's like a modern symptom or something of something.
No, it's that you are. Well, yeah, it's definitely modern because we had outhouses, but it's
like as soon as you unlock your door, you're like, I'm at home now. I have the desire to go pee pee.
Yeah, I want to pee in my own bathroom.
I get that, man. I get that.
Oh yeah.
Like I have that, but like I only poop in the house.
Really?
I try not to poop when I'm outside.
Wow.
Like I'll be like out somewhere and I'm like, I gotta go poop. Well, I just call it now and just go home.
Yeah, no, I've definitely done that. Because I also get worried that it's one of those poops where you're like, I need to shower after this.
Yeah, or like I'm doing an open mic or something and I'm at like Durkin's or something, where Durkin's doesn't have a toilet in the bathroom; it just has urinals. So how am I gonna poop? And I've been to a few bars like that. Like men rooms only have pissers.
Yeah, that always sucks.
Like men go poop too.
Yeah, everybody poops. It's one of the first books I had.
Everyone poops. No, Jews don't have that book. It's like everybody.
Everybody poops except for us. We excrete gold. That was our book.
It's more like everybody's a mark and try to scam them for as much money as possible. Oh wait, no, that's the Gypsy book.
So the Sicilian Bull, it is actually pretty well known of a torture device.
Hey, how you doing? You a bull? Hey, was it actually made in Sicily? In the island? And the island of Sicily?
That's a pretty good Sicilian. American Sicilian. I like that a lot.
You're welcome. I really tried really hard for that one.
Well, so the reason that people know is because there's a famous story behind it where the inventor of the Sicilian Bull, when he showed it to the Phalaris of Sicily, I guess is the I'm guessing that's the
guy who sucks the most dick?
Nah, I'm guessing he's probably like the king of the time. Probably the ruler of Sicily.
What year was it? Do you know?
I don't.
Because Italy's past. If you remember what the story of the bucket wars. It was actually there wasn't a king. Italy was separated into like 30 city states at the time.
Most places were. I mean, Germany wasn't an actual country until Otto von Bismarck championed all the states to be one country.
I watched a 2-hour documentary about Otto von Bismarck the other day.
I watched a 2-hour documentary just about his hat.
It was interesting with him. Like he said, 20 years after I die, Germany is gonna be split up again. Just watch and you'll listen. 20 years to the week, not the day, like to the week or the month. That's when World War I happened, and pretty much split up Germany.
Well, yeah, because he was the champion of Germany. He was the one who like brought everyone together.
And never wanted to become king because he was like, no thanks, I'm too busy putting this shit together. I'll be a Bismarck.
Yeah, he's like, someone else rule this shit. He's like, I'm just trying to keep it together. Yeah. But so the famous story behind the Sicilian Bull is that the man who created it for we'll call him the King of Sicily, presented it to the king and then became the first victim of the device because the king said anyone who has such a terrible mind to invent this type of a device really can only invent worse.
And that man was Leonardo DiCaprio.
If only.
No, it was the other guy.
It was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo, the inventor guy.
Da Vinci?
Yeah, Da Vinci. Yeah.
You know what that means, right?
It means of Vinny.
Yeah, it means Leonardo of Venice.
Yeah, Venice, right. I forgot the name of the fucking city.
Well,
he
we'll
really
get
liked
on
boats.
He really did. He also really liked just like things that could fly.
Yeah, he really liked inventing helicopters, and everyone's like,
Leonardo, that's
da Vinci.
Not gonna work. That's not gonna work. You're in a waterlogged place. Why are you worried about the air?
Hey, what you gonna do? Hey, just not fly around? And then that guy invented the parachute and jumped off of the Eiffel Tower. Didn't really work.
Never heard about that, but we'll continue.
Oh, it's a video online. You can watch this guy like jump off the Eiffel Tower. He's like,
he made a homemade parachute?
Yeah, like I got this parachute suit. It's going to save my life. And then he jumps off and then he splats.
That's terrifying. That's terrible.
That's like one of my favorite like top 10 inventors that killed by their own inventions YouTube.
Oh, is one of them the inventor of Segway?
I guess we could segue. I thought
no. His inventor of Segway, like the movable Segways.
Oh right, yeah.
He died. He died while showing off the off-roading. Yeah. They made a bigger one. It's like the XTR or something like that. It's like,
could you get any
made
fatter?
For going off-roading and also for fat people. And he was showing it off, and he rode off a cliff, died.
Pretty brutal. He should have had the homemade parachute that the guy did with the Eiffel Tower.
Well, to be fair, Segways don't really know when the thing ends. I have a friend who actually built. He's a friend of my cousin's that I met a while ago, and when he was in school, he like literally turned his locker into a refrigerator.
Good guy, smart guy.
And, yeah, he's very, very smart. And when he was in college, he designed, built, and was testing his own gyroscopic Segway that he built. And the one thing he didn't calculate for was curbs.
Okay.
Because as soon as he started going up onto a curb, it like threw him into the ground because it thought that it had to go like super fast.
Geez, and he died?
No.
Oh,
he
good.
just lost a couple teeth, but it was funny. So I guess we'll continue with torture. Now they're on Segways.
I guess, yeah. Segue over to the next thing.
So this one is still being used to this day.
Ooh, the catapult.
No, the catapult got beaten out by the trebuchet. I don't know where your fucking history is. However, it's called Chinese water torture.
Hey, that's racist.
No, it's not.
Asian American water torture.
They're not Asian Americans. They're literally from China.
Idiot.
Yeah, you sound like one. Now, this is a weird but effective technique that was actually used by both the Chinese and then the Spanish adopted it with a little bit of variation.
They used grease.
That'd be terrifying. That'd be so much worse.
What is a water torture?
Well, in American senses, like what we use at Guantanamo Bay,
Oh God, where you put the towel over someone's
Yeah,
face?
what they do is they tie you to a plank of wood.
Where your
They
feet
put
are
it-
up above your head, right?
Yep, they put a washcloth over your face
Oh my
or any
God.
kind of cloth, and
Yeah.
they pour buckets of water on you with small pauses in between.
I like the idea that it has to be a hand towel.
Well, because what it is, yeah, it has to be, because it gets suctioned to your face.
Yeah, it's like
And what happens is your brain, because whenever you inhale, you're taking in water,
Yeah.
your brain thinks you're drowning.
yeah,
And so you're in fight or flight, like panic mode.
the whole time, but you're not actually drowning.
No. Well, they can make you drown, but that's only if they're bad at their job. Now, Chinese
Dick
water
Cheney.
torture is a little bit different.
Okay.
Now, in this, the victim is restrained. Now, they're either sitting or they're laying down. They just restrain them in some way,
Yeah.
and they set a bucket above them,
Okay.
and the bucket is leaking,
Oh.
and a small
It's just
droplet
dripping.
drips on the center of their forehead.
Okay.
And the thing is, the reason that it works so well,
Feels like a drill or something.
no,
Uh,
there's no timing. It's not a consistent drip. The drip comes at any time and you don't know,
okay.
which drives your brain fucking insane.
Well, you could just sing a show tune, couldn't you?
You could try and distract yourself, but then you're getting smacked in the center of the forehead with a drop of water.
That is pretty annoying.
It's very annoying. It's very alarming.
These Chinese tortures are more goofy than anything.
Well,
Do they have the goats licking your feet while they're doing this?
there are people who can't make it through more than 10 minutes of Chinese water torture. I'm sure you as a regular person would hate it. You would not be able to stand it.
I think I could do it.
You think if I tied you to a fucking chair
Yeah.
and left you in a room with nothing
I have
but
a lot going on in
random
this head.
inconsistent droplets of water falling directly on your forehead,
Yeah.
you'd be fine?
I say that now.
The world we live in, we're constantly overexposed. You would start
Oh no! I
your
sit,
brain would
I
start
sitting alone in a room all the time.
your brain would start freaking out. Your thigh would start twitching, and you think that you're getting a phone call. You'll start hearing people say your name when they didn't. Oh, it's insane. You will mentally break within like 30 minutes.
You know, a lot of people said this about absolute silence too. They're like, "Oh man, you could never exist in there for more than like 10, 15 minutes. You go insane." This guy spent like 8-10 hours in there, and just like, la 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 la. I think that a lot of people hear these things and like, "Oh yeah, I heard a guy did this."
You're talking about willingly walking into a room
Yeah,
that is made to absorb every single
like,
atmospheric sound.
it has to be weird though. Like you could probably hear your heart or something.
I'm sure it's eerie. I'm sure it's
Like,
weird.
you got a boner.
It's not torture. This is made to do all those things.
I think the Chinese got to. I'm just saying that the
Listen,
Chinese got to step it up. Just step it up.
This was also invented before the 5th century.
All right, so that's all the people had.
This is
Yeah.
before Jesus.
Fifth. What?
This is before they even invented crucifixion.
The 5th century. That's 500 years after Jesus.
Yeah, I know. This is probably invented way before.
Because people don't know like the days.
Yeah, exactly. People don't know the
Like-
exact times that these things were made because they're continually being used.
And Chinese years are weird. It's like the 27th century over there.
Well, they just started recording time way earlier than most other civilizations. Let's continue.
Okay, whatever. So that was the Chinese water torture.
We're staying on the Asian trend here.
Oh my
This was
God.
a Chinese torture and a Japanese. It's really all Southeast Asian countries had this as a torture because the main method is utilizing bamboo.
Ooh,
now-
that's hot.
This torture was also used in prisoner of war camps during Vietnam.
Yeah.
So
what do they do? Like you have to lay on bamboo while an old Asian man licks your toes or something, and a drop of water hits you on the dick.
well, that would be fun and all.
All these Asian ones are kind of goofy, huh?
So
So you're like, oh, it's an old Asian man licking your feet.
no, it's not. If only. Honestly, this is much worse. They did it in multiple ways.
Right.
They would, they would bind you and just lay you down, or they would
Sounds
just
relaxing.
hang you by your wrists. A
Oh,
lot
that
of
sounds
actually,
a little less comfy.
a lot of Asian torture involves hanging you by your thumbs.
Ooh, that one. I wouldn't be able to do that.
It hurt
Like maybe 5 minutes.
right?
Thumb?
Just by your thumbs.
I'm pulling at my thumb right now. It already hurts.
Yeah. Imagine all your body weight on that.
Oh God, I'm pretty fat.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, so they would lay you down, or they would string you up, and they would plant bamboo underneath you.
Don't care. I'm surrounded by ivy plants. It's a little uncomfortable.
Well, so bamboo doesn't sound too bad, but you got to remember that it is basically a weed.
Yeah.
It's a very
Weeds are soft.
effective weed.
A little itchy. I can do that.
Now, over the course of a year,
I'm just gonna be laying out there for a year.
maybe less because of how it happens.
Oh.
Basically, they continually cut it while it's growing into a point.
Oh yeah.
And do you know how fast bamboo grows?
I don't know. Like an inch every 10 years, like a tree.
Okay, it grows 3 to 5 feet per year.
Ooh, that's kind of rough. Yeah, and bamboo, it naturally grows to a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did this on MythBusters.
What with it? Would it grow into you?
Yeah, they laid a gelatin body down, and it like grew through them. And the fucked up thing is that when
you don't die.
You don't die. Your body heals around it.
Yeah, because it happens so slowly.
Well, slowly, relatively, but yeah.
Well, compared to like lopping off your head.
Yeah.
It takes a couple days, and it like starts to grow into you, and your body will heal around it.
Yeah, so you got there's stories of guys still out there to this day, laying in the woods, bamboo all around them. Like, hey, can anybody help?
Their face is just impaled.
Can you send the pandas? We like eating bamboo. Wait, they eat bamboo, right?
Pandas?
Yeah.
They eat bamboo, but their stomachs aren't made to digest bamboo.
Pandas are stupid.
Yeah, I know. They're really, really dumb. So we'll go past that, and we'll go into another thing that tears through you.
Oh.
This torture was popularized in Game of Thrones, but was actually very common across most of Europe. It is known as rat torture.
Yummy.
Now, they would place a rat in a cage, and they would put that cage. So the cage has it has a flooring, like a thin wood. I know. It has like a thin wood, and they put the rat in the cage. It's a wicker cage.
Yeah.
They put it either on your stomach or on your chest.
Ooh.
As you're tied down, and they light the top of the cage on fire. Now, a rat, being a rat, can burrow and gnaw through almost anything.
No, come on. Can't gnaw through skin.
It can gnaw through fucking cement.
Yeah.
It can easily gnaw through skin. Gnawing through skin is nothing for it.
No, like cement.
And so,
my skin's way tougher than cement.
And so they light the cage on fire, which forces the rat to start freaking out and burrowing. So it will eventually break through the floor of the cage and start burrowing into either your stomach or your chest, and will actually burrow straight through your body.
That's a little bit more fucked up than bamboo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty brutal. Like, would you want that?
I would prefer that to this next one.
Oh.
This next one also
dog torture?
Also done throughout Europe and the Middle East. We actually have an image from drawing from 70 AD in Armenia. Now, throughout history, many cultures have used some sort of this, which is known as flaying.
Ooh, I like a good fillet.
Yeah,
like a fish fillet.
But
what's your order, fish fillet?
Precisely for for humans and for torture.
Oh,
it's also known as being skinned alive.
Ooh, that's not so fun.
No,
but then you could like you can take the human meat and like beer batter it and make it into fish fillet.
Okay, cannibalism is way less appropriate than torture.
Listen,
I don't know how, but it is.
Yeah, it's like You said something about about God. Hook him up.
String him up.
String his thumbs up.
Can we eat them? We're all starving. No, that's gross.
What are you, heathens? Now slice off his skin in the name of God.
Yes, they would tie you to an X, like an X of timber.
No, DMX, yeah. They're going to tie you to
DMX. And they skin you alive.
Oh.
They would put like sawdust and lard and other shit on your body.
Right.
To kind of keep you alive while they're finishing the skinning process. And then they would take your fully skinned body, still on the X, and put you in the square of the town so people could see you, throw rocks at you until you died.
One idiot. Look, he doesn't got any skin anymore.
Mm-hmm. And also the ancient Assyrians would actually hang the skin of their defeated victims on their city walls to warn others.
That makes sense. That's what Vlad the Impaler did.
No, he would put heads on spikes.
No, he would put entire people on
That's
spikes
true.
Then have that hanging around the. It's like yeah, it's pretty fucked up that Johnny's head's up there, but what about Tim's entire naked body with the asshole just split open with a log going up it? Well, yeah, I don't really want to invade that country either. Let's just go home, dude.
So sticking with European torture methods.
Ooh, wait, I thought we just did Arabic.
What?
Middle Eastern.
Well, I guess, it was all over. The Assyrians, the Armenians.
Wow.
We can go to this beautiful, nasty, disgusting torture called Scaphism, which is an ancient Persian torture method.
Yeah, I tried reading that. It doesn't make any sense.
What, yours?
Scaphism?
Yeah, Scaphism.
What did the Persians do? Like, what do they know for? Like, oh, you shall not pass. Oh, Lord of the Rings, 300.
Well, so the Greeks described it as a Persian method of torture and execution where the victim was stripped naked and then firmly fastened within a face-to-face pair of narrow rowing boats.
Okay, that doesn't sound that rough.
Or hollowed-out tree trunks. Now, with the head and limbs protruding, the condemned was forced to drink milk and honey to the point of developing severe diarrhea. The more honey would be rubbed on his body to attract insects to exposed appendages, eyes and genitals. Now, he would then be left to float in a stagnant pond to be exposed to the sun. The defenseless individual's feces accumulated within the container, attracting more insects, which would eat and breed within his exposed flesh, which became increasingly gangrenous. The feeding would then be repeated each day, in some cases to prolong the torture, so that dehydration or starvation would not kill them.
Oh.
Now, death, when it eventually occurred, was probably due to a combination of dehydration, starvation, and septic shock. Death by scaphism, still a hard word,
like
to say.
scavs?
Was incredibly painful, humiliating, and protracted.
Oh, man, I'd be humiliated if I was doing this.
Yeah.
Good torture if you were Winnie the Pooh, though. He'd be like, "Oh, Christopher Robin, send me more honey."
In 401 BC, it was noted that Cyrus the Younger survived 17 days before dying.
Cyrus the Younger?
Yeah. Sucks about Cyrus the Older. He only made 16, and no one knows about him.
Yeah, it's like, son, you're surrounded by shit and bugs.
It's kind of like Billy Ray Cyrus and Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, what? No, sorry. Her name is Hope Cyrus.
Nobody gives a shit.
Something like that. I don't know. But so that was probably one of our most disgusting ones on the list.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. I like that one.
But I know you didn't really consider. I just gotta wonder. Do you want to stay in the Middle East? Do you want to go back to the East, or do you want to go back to Europe?
Man,
you have three choices here.
Oh, geesh.
I have one for each of them, so pick one.
Okay, let's stay in the Middle East.
All right.
Let's make a little trek, right? We're in Persia right now. Where are we going next?
Not very far. We're going actually from Persia, just closer towards Italy.
Okay, so yeah, just a hop, skip, and a jump. This is what the...
So this is at like the very, very end. This is very close to the 5th century.
Right.
Well, I guess not very close to the 5th century. It was more like probably 200 BC.
Okay. All right.
There was a thing called Crucifixion.
Oh, that's a fun.
It's one of the hardest things to find an image of without Jesus in it.
Yeah, that's pretty hard. Yeah, that's the one thing. They're like, hey, this one torture. Hey, good thing they didn't use the last torture to kill Jesus. Am I right?
Oh my
They
God!
Just be Jesus on a boat.
Could you imagine?
Covered in shit.
Just looking so disgusting and having flies as a halo instead of, crown of thorns.
Oh, that'd probably still like artsy it up because I'm pretty sure
it would be on every necklace.
Yeah, crucifying him probably had like bugs and shit all over him too.
Oh, of course. Actually, Jesus got the easy way out. People don't like to say that, but Jesus really did.
He's like, oh, I've been whipped for a few days. Oh, now I got to carry this cross.
Well, no,
it's my
because
cross to bear.
Crucifixion is pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah, we all know it. We've seen it.
Exactly. But in reality, it was a very slow and gruesome death.
Yeah,
because,
you'd probably shit yourself.
Well, of course you would. You were fucking nailed to a cross.
It's like, hey, can I
go
to the toilet?
The Romans used this against people who were decreed to be an enemy of the state.
Oh, yeah.
Which, there's actually a really cool book about Jesus called Jesus of Nazareth, basically diving into what he must have done to receive the crucifixion.
He was the Son of God, yeah.
No. Because even with that, like the Romans would have hailed him. They wouldn't have crucified him.
Hail!
He was stirring up a lot of issues in the Roman Empire, enough that they deemed him an enemy of the state. So how did a carpenter like that bring up enough issues?
Like,
and that's
hey,
what the book is about. It's rather interesting.
Okay.
It's a very good read.
Which book is it again?
It's called Jesus of Nazareth.
Okay.
I believe it might be called Jesus of Nazareth, Enemy of the State. I haven't looked into it very often in the last couple of years. But so they would take these people who were enemies of the state, and they would starve them in prison, they would beat them, they would do all that shit.
Typical stuff is what we're talking about.
And they would have them get in the line in the public square. So they would gather all these people in a line in this town square.
Right.
And they would hand out these pieces of lumber which were in the shape of a cross. Now, these things are very fucking heavy.
Yeah.
And they would make the prisoners walk their own cross all the way through town while people are throwing shit and piss and rocks at them and screaming at them.
It was make it look nice in the movies, but in actuality, these people didn't have tomatoes.
No, they had their own
throwing
feces.
Food. Yeah. You didn't have a toilet in the house, so you just had a bucket. And you're like, hey.
That goes back to...
Maybe that's why they liked doing all the torture and shit. They're like, how am I going to clean out this bucket full of shit? Well, good thing we got the daily fucking march of sadness happening in the town.
Well, so actually, when I was in Carcassonne, France, which is a medieval...
Good game.
It's a medieval city.
Good game.
Yeah, very good game.
I like Carcassonne.
It is a nice game. I learned there that the common conception of pouring hot tar and burning oil on your enemies at the gates is completely Hollywood, because in reality they would boil like piss and shit and water and they would dump it on people. They dump like boiling water and boiling feces and shit.
You're not gonna waste your good oil on people.
Oil and tar are so expensive. Why the
Especially
fuck?
Since you got natural tar and oil coming out of your ass.
Exactly. Like,
because that's what shit is at the end of the day. It's
like,
oil.
What the hell? Like, you would never waste that much of a precious material on attacking someone or defending
Hollywood.
your castle. But so
you idiots.
So yes, they would walk them through the streets, and then they would
just talking about the guy that had to like hand these things out. I bet his job is even worse. He had to bear all these crosses in the middle of the.
Honestly, his job is probably pretty nice. It's just lifting.
He's like,
here you go, here you go, here you go. Have
but he
fun.
had to get him there somehow. He's not like constructing them in the middle of the.
Sure, he brings a bunch of slaves. They were Romans.
That's true. They probably did have slaves.
They have a ton of slaves.
It's like, Romans, hey, you carry this before, or else you're going on it.
Romans loved slavery so much that when they invented the steam engine, they looked at it and said, yeah, this could really revolutionize our world.
But we got slaves.
Yeah, but slaves are cheaper.
Yeah.
They're like, we can do all the things that slaves are doing for more money? No thanks.
Yeah. And they had batteries and computers too. And they're like,
they really were just like, no, we got slaves.
Got slaves, dude.
Why would I do this? But so they would carry their crosses across town, and then all the way up until they got to a hilltop that overlooked the city.
Oh, god damn it.
where then they would lay down the crosses, and the person would be impaled with these giant fucking nails through the wrists.
Oh man.
And one through both of their ankles.
Oof.
That's why they always looked like so crossed, like their legs so crossed on it. You know,
they're crossed on the cross.
they are. They're very cross up there too.
Yeah.
But
not in the middle of the hands, because everyone always says the middle of the hands. That's like the more romantic version of it.
It's the romantic version. The middle of the hand wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, because then your hand would just rip off.
Exactly.
You need something
had to
sturdy. It needs
exactly.
to be between two bones.
Yep. They had to split the bone, otherwise this wouldn't work.
Hole right there.
Because then they would put the cross upright and nail into the ground.
Slaves. Had to do that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Either that or soldiers. Slaves or soldiers. And
lazy.
they would leave you
Romans.
there.
For how long?
Till you died.
Man, that's
and then
pretty
until
brutal.
you're until you were just a skeleton, they would just leave you there. It didn't matter. That was crucifixion. Crucifixion wasn't, oh, I'm dying from being on a cross. It's no, I'm dying because all of the weight of my body is being held up by 3 nails.
Yeah.
I've had no food or water, and animals are picking at me.
Oh, and you can't even defend yourself because your ankles are stuck in the wood.
And you can't use your hands. What are you supposed to do?
yeah,
Shoot
obviously
them?
not.
Shoot. Get out of here. I'm alive. But
so it's not like Life of Brian? Or it's like,
No, you can't just whistle. But that's why I say Jesus had the easy way out.
He definitely did. Well,
Because everyone always notes.
he could have had the tickle torture out.
Well,
That would have
Jesus.
been funny.
One of the big things about Jesus was that when he was crucified, there was a Roman soldier that stabbed him in the chest.
Oh,
The spear of destiny, right?
Yeah, that's the easy way. You got to get murdered. Yeah.
Exactly. He
didn't
bled
die
out
of-
before he died of any of those other terrible things.
I guess it wouldn't have looked nice, like with a dog just yanking at his feet on the.
No.
Like, what's that
I
piece
mean,
of shit?
they're like 15 feet off the ground.
Bear, then just bear coming by gnawing on your anything.
A bear would have to like knock over your cross.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be pretty nuts. Okay, but so that was crucifixion.
You were just blowing through this stuff.
No, I just want to get out of ancient torture and at least into medieval in this day.
No, we're definitely gonna have to do that tomorrow.
All right, that's
Or
fair.
next week.
Then we'll at least finish up ancient torture. So we'll go to we will go to Europe one last time, and then we'll end in Asia. All right.
Europe. Yes. What are we talking about in Europe?
It's called saw torture.
Oh God.
Now, saw torture, actually, they really had a better understanding of the body than, and that's one of my most interesting things to me. The most interesting thing to me about torture is the fact that they had to know a lot about how the body worked to know how to keep you alive.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. It doesn't look like they know that in this one.
For saw torture?
Yeah, that looks like you're not gonna live for much longer.
Oh, you live for a while. So the victims of saw torture were hung upside down by their feet
I can,
on like a big trellis.
you guys see this picture. It's
And what they would do is they would leave them there until they noted that all of the blood of their body had rushed to their heads.
oh, okay.
And then 2 people would start using a fucking lumber saw and start at your genitals,
Yeah.
at your taint,
Yeah.
at your gooch,
The Goochalicious.
at your fleshy little fun bridge.
from Bridge.
And they start sawing your body in half.
Yeah.
And they would saw from like your groin straight down into about like the center of your guts. And then they would just leave you there.
Oh, great.
And they would come back because you'd still be alive.
I don't know. I think I'd be dead.
Because your blood isn't pumping up there. Your blood is just in your brain, so you're active and alert. They would leave you there for a little while. They'd come back. They'd saw down even more until you passed out. They would come back. They would kick you awake if they could kick you awake. And if they couldn't, they would just finish up the sawing.
Oddly enough, this is how the movie Saw got its name.
But isn't that fucking nuts?
This is
They would normally just saw straight up to the abdomen
yeah.
and then just like leave you there.
Wow. That's a real 6-pack.
How?
I don't know. The fuck? You wrote the joke.
That's fair. I probably shouldn't have questioned my own joke. So yeah, so that just shows that like Europeans were very brutal about it.
Yeah.
They while
They like blood.
they really do.
They're like, give me the most of blood.
Now we'll go back to Southeast Asia.
Oh, you're right.
We'll go back to China.
Okay.
And there is something that is actually still used in popular culture. It's called Lingchi. It's otherwise known as death by 1,000 cuts.
That just sounds stupid.
It sounds painful.
Like how big a cuts? Like, are we talking about paper cuts here? Because I think I can stand 1,000 paper cuts.
Well, it's death by.
Yeah, 1,000 cuts. So it's like.
So could you imagine getting cut by a paper cut enough times to die?
That'd be like 1,000,000 cuts.
But do you know how excruciating that would be?
Yeah, that'd be pretty brutal.
Yeah. Now imagine 1,000 cuts and they're using a goddamn sword.
Okay, a sword. Yeah, that's pretty. Like, I don't even know 1,000. I think most people would die at 10. 20.
No, they were methodical. So it was
Ooh.
reserved for the most severe crimes. This is the punishment for the most severe crimes.
Wait, so what was the taboo the other one for? The bamboo.
The bamboo?
Was that just for like mediocre crimes?
It was a less so serious crime.
It's like, oh, you.
Well, because that one's easier. You know, you just string up like 12 people in a row, you plant some bamboo, you're done. With this one, you took your time. There was one guy.
So this is like the emperor's daughter got hit on by like a dignitary. And he's like, dude, 1,000 cuts, bro. He's like,
Yeah, kind of, honestly, yeah. It's like, oh, you disrespected the daughter of the emperor in trying to court her. You dishonored the emperor. Yeah, well, death by 1,000 cuts.
She dressed like a hoe.
They would lock you in a room.
Uh-oh.
And each day they would methodically come in and cut you.
Ow. What the fuck? And then they just leave.
Yeah. And they would just cut you until you died.
These Chinese ones are so silly.
It's insane.
Like, can you imagine being like in a room? You're bounded up on a chair, and like they're not speaking like they're speaking Chinese to you, but you don't know what the fuck they're saying. And like every day, a guy just comes in with a sword and just gives you a little cut. You're like, what the fuck? Like after like 100 days, you're just like, dude, it's been like a year now.
Well, you would never know.
Well, you
can't keep track of days.
You look out the window.
Doesn't matter.
Be like, wait, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. Where's the water? And then it's like a dripping water. And then a rat comes in. You're like, oh my God, it's the whole fucking day's podcast.
Yeah. And then the whole cell gets set on fire and you and the rat just burrow out the floor. And then it becomes Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. And then they find you and just throw you in a...
Andy Dufresne.
Andy Dufresne knew what he was talking about.
Andy Dufresne had a great collection of posters.
He liked getting the pencil in the poster. Andy Dufresne.
That good old boy, Andy Dufresne.
He was my friend.
All right. Well, hey, thank you everyone for joining us for the ancient tortures of our torture segment.
We're all done?
Well, you said you wanted to end with ancient torture. I wanted to keep going with medieval.
Well, we're at an hour.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy. There's a lot of tortures going around.
Why don't we teaser it with what our first torture in the medieval century will be?
Okay. Are you gonna?
I'm not gonna give the whole thing. I'm just gonna give you the.
Okay. I think it's gonna be water torture.
Nope. Oh. It is an English torture that was reserved for the utmost enemies of the state.
Yes.
Famously was used to execute not only Guy Fawkes, and also
these aren't hints. You're pretty much like telling everybody.
And what's his name? What's the guy? What's Braveheart? William Wallace.
Yeah. No, Mel Gibson.
If only they would do this to him. So come on back next week and come hear about the medieval tortures. It might be in 2 weeks. We might have another little thing pop up. But you know what? Stick with us. We'll always let you know when it's about torture.
We'll always let you up and never let you down. Just like a good crucifix.
Yep. And also remember that please go to audible.com/www petco.com/Wild Wasteland to receive one free dog snack.
Yep, that's 100% true. And check out us on iTunes. We're now on iTunes.
Supposedly we're on iTunes.
Wild Wasteland. Go to uniquelyidentical.com/wild for every internet update. Our Facebook group is at
Wild Podcast, right?
Yeah, Wild Podcast, because Wild Wasteland was taken. But yeah, we're on Facebook. We might make an Instagram. I don't know.
Probably not.
Seems like a lot of fucking work.
I don't really want to run an Instagram, and I know I'd have to run it.
And I don't keep up with the Facebook.
I know you don't. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We really appreciate your ears. And remember, stay vigilant. If you ever have a topic that you want us to cover, please send it in to our Facebook page.
Yeah, email deanmaldonado@gmail.com. Don't join a cult. Bye.
Bye-bye.